From the All Indiana Podcast Network.
The All Indiana Podcast Network.
This is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now all the latest news.
Kylie Conway has all the news you need to know.
And more.
Please stand by.
Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, August 20th. A hot and humid end to the work week. Most of the day is expected to be dry with the exception of a few isolated afternoon showers. Highs will top out in the mid to upper 80s. Kickoff of high school football marks the return of COVID concerns for the players and fans. For Indianapolis Public Schools, athletes, students, and fans should expect a lot of COVID-19 safety precautions, starting with limited capacity at sporting events, masks inside, and social distancing outside. IPS says outdoor high school sports are at a reduced capacity of 50%, indoor capped at 25% capacity. And when it comes to K through 8th grade, only parents, guardians, and siblings are allowed to attend indoor sporting events. All students participating in IPS sports also must have to sign a risk acknowledgement form before starting the season, detailing the potential risks involved with COVID-19. The district says they have contact tracing policies in place for students and staff and are confident other school districts will follow their safety measures when visiting. IPS says last year went well, and they're hopeful this year will too.
Administrators are having meetings, school leaders are having meetings all the time about what the latest guidance is, what we can do best. The district has changed the mask policy here and there, so we're always on our P's and Q's and looking out for what's best. But at the same time, we're excited for our student athletes and for our participants and the families as well of our participants. So, we try to stay positive, keep moving forward, and make sure we keep safety as our number one priority as well.
The district says more students are participating in fall sports this season than last year. Most teams were able to practice over the summer, too, and staff says that's keeping spirits up through the pandemic. So kids are focused on COVID safety, but also just thrilled that Friday night football is back. And a jump in childhood COVID cases is sending more kids to the hospital this time of year. That's usually the healthiest. Wish TV medical expert, former Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams says that that's dangerous.
We usually have our highest number of pediatric ICU admissions in January because, again, you're having a lot of respiratory diseases, et cetera. You usually have your lowest month of admissions in August.
Right.
Our August admissions are surpassing those in January, and that's not just affecting our ability to care for COVID patients. That means if your child has a car accident, if your kid has cancer, if your kid has another reason that they need to be in the ICU, there may be no room in the inn.
And a doctor at Riley Hospital for Children is getting attention and support from across the country after he shared a photo of himself crying at work on Twitter. He says healthcare worker burnout is the worst he's ever experienced. News 8's Demi Johnson spoke with him about the toll the pandemic has been taking on him and his colleagues.
Feeling the cumulative weight of the last year and a half and having rising apprehension and tension for what the coming weeks and months will once again hold in a new wave of this pandemic, especially one that will affect children in different and more serious ways, was this moment.
While he doesn't typically care for COVID patients, he still feels the effects of the virus. And doctors at Riley say with 70 positive cases in children in the past week, things are getting much worse.
The number of children that are hospitalized today has been the highest that we've had in several months. So several of these children are in the intensive care unit, so we know that they're quite sick, and some of these children have been transferred from other institutions.
It's put doctors in a bind. They say because hospitals across the country are short-staffed, they're caring for more patients with fewer resources.
We don't live in a bubble, right? We communicate with our colleagues around the country and around the world for that matter. And I've not seen it like this in the past in terms of just folks are exhausted.
That's why Dr. Hill says the meaning behind his message holds a little more weight right now.
I try to normalize it in the way that it's okay to feel angry.
And he's hoping it provides an outlet to overcome.
Part of the tears that I shared is that then we have to find spaces to make sure we're working through that together so that we can hopefully continue to show up for the people who are in need.
In Indianapolis, I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And the pandemic is having a noticeable impact on the education of children. That's according to a new report from the Kaiser Family Foundation. According to the data, 39% of parents with a child aged 5 or over say at least one of their children fell behind academically. That number climbs to 50% of Hispanic parents and 51% of households with lower income. 36% of parents say their child fell behind in social and emotional development, and 29% say their child experienced mental health or behavioral problems due to the pandemic. And we've been crunching COVID-19 numbers among vaccinated people and seeing a jarring jump in serious cases. The CDC has been watching breakthrough cases since the shots first started. In the first 4 months of 2021, it charted 160 breakthrough case deaths. Since then, in just more than 3 months, the number of breakthrough deaths is well over 1,000. The CDC does not settle on a single reason, but the numbers add to the conversation about booster shots and the Delta variant.
Are there going to be individuals who have breakthroughs and in some, rare cases, even breakthrough hospitalizations and death? Yes, that will happen with any vaccine. But thankfully, it is far more rare compared to the deaths and hospitalizations that are happening among the unvaccinated, which tells us the vaccines are still working at the highest level. We need to make sure that continues to be the case.
The data shows vaccinated people are still far less likely to get severely ill than those who do not get the shot. According to the Indiana State Health Department, out of the more than 3 million fully vaccinated people, there have been about 9,000 breakthrough cases. Less than 100th of the vaccinated population has been hospitalized or died. 3 U.S. congressmen have tested positive for COVID-19. Senators Angus King, Roger Wicker, and John Hickenlooper have said they are also fully vaccinated. At least 8 other U.S. senators and dozens of U.S. Congress members have tested positive for the virus as well. 2 House members have died from COVID. And President Biden is set to address the evacuation of people from Afghanistan later today. Groups of American citizens and their families, as well as special immigrant visa holders and vulnerable Afghans, need transport. Biden's remarks are set to start at 1 this afternoon. You can watch that live on wishtv.com or stream it on our Facebook page. And the president will likely face questions about what was known before the fall of Afghanistan to the Taliban. In a new report, 2 State Department officials told CNN that a group of U.S. diplomats sent a classified cable message warning that this would happen. It was sent to the Secretary of State in mid-July. The diplomats apparently had sent other warnings that were ignored and decided to use a different channel of communication. Already, the top Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee has called for a briefing about this and try to find out if the Biden administration could have done more to stop the chaos unfolding there now. Jonathan Feiner is the Deputy National Security Advisor and spoke on the topic yesterday. He said he has respect for career diplomats and what they predicted did happen, but that no one was right in predicting how fast it happened. He said the U.S. government had been preparing.
We had a plan in place for this eventuality, and that is why the president pre-positioned U.S. military forces in the Gulf so that we could flow those forces directly to Kabul as soon as things started to melt down. That is why we were able to evacuate our embassy, draw down our diplomatic presence to a core that is now functioning at the airport in Kabul, and that is why we were able to start within a matter of days these evacuation flights.
Feiner also said some of the memo's advice was followed. He said it called for special immigrant visa flights by August 1st, and they began those flights in July. The first evacuation flight did arrive in the U.S. on July 30th. And today, evacuations are increasing. A State Department spokesperson said 6,000 people were cleared yesterday, up from 2,000 the day before. The aircraft can carry as many as 9,000, but armed Taliban guards and paperwork issues are preventing many Americans and Afghans from reaching the U.S. presence at the airport. The State Department is holding diplomatic talks with the Taliban. The goal of the talks is to keep the airport in Kabul secure and to ensure the safety of people evacuating the country. Some are begging for President Biden's help.
He saved me and my family. And the Afghan interpreters who work for your country. You're leaving us here to die?
I am asking American forces for help because I was very close to them, and they shouldn't leave us like this. And also, they should help my colleagues.
According to the State Department, a former U.S. ambassador to Afghanistan is in Kabul working to bring order and to create a safe way for Americans to get to the airport. And one local group is helping Afghanistan evacuees settle in central Indiana. The executive director of Exodus Refugee Immigration says that some people on their way to Indianapolis likely have relatives in the city. The group helps with everything from finding a hotel to enrolling children in school.
Help them with rental costs while they're looking for those jobs. Help them with mental health access, with volunteer placement, so they have sort of their first friends in the United States. So really wraparound services for those initial months.
Exodus is looking for your help, too. It's asking the community to donate furniture and other household items to help refugees transition to their new home. Exodus also says it's sending 2 staff members to Fort Lee to help with processing. And today, the man accused of shooting and killing 2 women outside of a factory in Clinton County is scheduled to appear in court for the first time. This morning, we're also hearing from the victim's family. Penny Ains lost her mother and daughter on Wednesday outside the NHK factory near Frankfort. She says she feared the worst after hearing about the shooting when neither 21-year-old Promise Mays or 62-year-old Pamela Sled answered their phones.
They were the most fun-loving, caring 2 people I have ever been blessed to have in my life. And they would have done anything for anybody, but they'd also brighten your day. They always gave words of encouragement. Promise lit up the room. My mom was always happy and positive. They were wonderful.
26-year-old Gary Farrell is accused of shooting the pair. He was arrested shortly after the shooting after a high-speed chase. And this morning, the Butler University community is mourning a student who's leaving a permanent mark on campus. Zan Corman's mother announced on Facebook that her son was caught in crossfire during a shooting in Maryland. Carolyn Corman explains that her son was the victim of a drive-by shooting on Sunday morning. She writes that he fought as long as he could, and the medical team tried every possible intervention. Corman worked as a photographer and editor of the school newspaper. Butler's head basketball coach, Laval Jordan, tweeted, "Zan was a talented young man who was a true bulldog at heart, praying comfort over his family." We met a classmate who worked closely with Corman at the paper.
Zan was a really nice and kind person. Everybody that knew him knew that. He was so talented. His passion was photography, videography, and I mean, he was amazing at it. And I think a lot of people that knew Zan just knew how passionate he was about that, and knew how much he cared about that, but how much he cared about people and his friends. And yeah, he will be truly missed.
Carolyn Corman says the family honored his wishes by donating his organs. Hamilton Southeastern's football game tonight will begin with a somber moment. Classmates will honor Elena and Isabella Gaddis and recent graduate Brianna Foster. All 3 died Monday morning in a hit-and-run crash in South Carolina. HSC will hold a candlelight vigil for the teens. There's also a celebration of life planned for tomorrow night. That's happening at the Nickel Plate District Amphitheater at 6:30. At least one of the people arrested in the death of an Indiana baby has faced accusations of neglecting a dependent before. IT-Mate found a case from 2016 against Kenneth Lane. He, Tiffany Coburn, and Justin Miller are now charged in the case of Mercedes Lane. According to investigators, the girl's parents left her with Miller last week so they could take a break, then reported her missing Saturday, sparking a search that led to the baby's body in Stark County Wednesday. Investigators also say Tiffany Coburn handed a duffel bag with drugs in it to a neighbor before calling the police. Lane and Coburn are charged with neglect of a dependent. Miller is charged with neglect of a dependent causing death. Authorities are not yet saying if they think the girl's death was an accident or intentional. And this morning, investigators are piecing together the past of the man who claimed to have a bomb in a truck near the U.S. Capitol. Authorities say Floyd Ray Roseberry did not have a bomb. According to police, he drove onto the sidewalk around 9:15 yesterday morning. The 49-year-old from North Carolina live-streamed anti-government grievances and said he would blow up his truck. That led to a 5-hour-long standoff before Roseberry surrendered. Police say there were possible bomb-making materials inside the truck. Jeopardy's new host is facing some sharp criticism for his past statements about women. A website called The Ringer says it found 2013 and 2014 episodes of a podcast called The Random Show, in which Mike Richards reportedly commented on women's bodies. The episodes have since been removed. In a statement, Richards apologized for the comments, calling the words thoughtless and insensitive misjudgment. And you have a chance to witness the biggest stars in the sports of gymnastics. Simone Biles and her Team USA gymnastic teammates Jade Carey and Michaela Skinner are making an Indianapolis tour stop. Gold Over America is planned to celebrate athletes in women's gymnastics. The gymnasts are scheduled to visit Bankers Life Fieldhouse on October 22nd. And there are new giant faces on the side of Lucas Oil Stadium. Darius Leonard, Quentin Nelson, and DeForest Buckner are now prominently featured on the outside walls. There are 4 banners in all. T.Y. Hilton keeps his spot on the southwest side. The season opener is 23 days away. And tonight, Central Indiana students begin the quest for the coveted title of the Zone Banner Champions. Garin Catholic, Franklin Community, Carmel, Brownsburg, Mooresville, and Westfield are all past winners. Sports 8 director Anthony Calhoun explains what it takes to add your school's name to that list.
The battle is on for the best student section in Central Indiana.
The 2020 Zone Banner Champs is Westville High School. Westville, getting it done here.
Which school is going to win the undisputed Top Spirit Award, the Zone Championship banner? The Shamrocks of Westfield High School are the defending champs.
Going to state's huge. You're winning the banners. How can your school bring home the Zone banner? Franklin High School, Carmel, Brownsburg, Mooresville High School, and of course those Rocks from Westfield.
Here are 3 ways your school can win and have the Zone banner hanging in your gym. Number 1, great school spirit. Number 2, show us how much you love the Zone. And number 3, lead the way on social media across the state, promoting your school and the Zone. So who's taking the Zone Championship banner in 2021? We'll find out in November. We want the banner! We want the banner! We want the banner! We want the banner!
Also, when you get back from your game, tune into The Zone on Wish TV. Our crews are spread out all over to bring you highlights of 22 games, the most in the state. It all gets underway at 11:08 tonight. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
Check out more podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.
allindianapodcastnetwork.com.